Hello and welcome to Teal House Farm. Today we're going to be talking about 7 simple changes that you can make for a more sustainable, low-waste kitchen. Let's go. Let's talk about low waste. What exactly is low waste? And you'll figure that the definition changes depending on who you talk to. The idea of this video is to introduce you to the idea of purchasing products to replace convenience items that you use just once or maybe a couple times and then throw away. However, some of them may actually be made out of plastic, which the really hardcore low waste, no waste people would be big thumbs down on. But my idea is that if we can make simple changes in the right direction, that eventually as a family, my family will get to somewhere where all the products that we are choosing are very sustainable, including items that maybe have no plastic components at all. So for us, low and no waste doesn't necessarily mean absolutely zero plastic. It means as limited plastic as possible and as few items going in the trash bin as possible. I also count most recyclable items as waste because I do not have a way to recycle plastics or like tin cans where we live. I can recycle glass, but I really can't recycle anything else, and you're not supposed to burn those items like I could burn cardboard or compost cardboard. So really try to stay away from those. So without any more of me jabbering, let's talk about 7 easy changes that you can make to make your kitchen more sustainable. The first item is replacing plastic wrap. Plastic wrap is super convenient, even if it drives us a little nuts with it always getting tangled up on itself. And an easy way to replace plastic wrap is with bees wrap or similar type papers. Bees wrap is probably the most expensive item I'm going to show you today. I am experimenting with making my own vegan bees type wrap with American grown organic soy wax, and once I get that recipe right, I'm going to share it with you because it's monumentally cheaper than buying bees wrap. But for starters, this is a sheet of bees wrap, and you use it just like you would use plastic wrap. The great thing about beeswax products is that they're very heat sensitive, so just your body heat makes them moldable and stick to themselves. So you can place it over a bowl and it'll stick, just like cling wrap will. And then when you're done with it, just wipe it off, let it dry, and then fold it back up and store it for next time. When they do get to the point where you just cannot reuse them anymore, which I'm not quite sure what the end game is. These are pretty new for me, so I'm not sure how long I can expect them to last, and I'll keep you updated on that. Most people I've read keep them for a long time because you can reseal them. But once they hit end of life, they can be composted, so nothing is going in the trash. The next storage item that we are replacing is the plastic Ziploc bag. These things are addictive and they're so simple. So we already use mason jars for all of our leftovers because it's reusable a million times. We use mason jars for everything. Great, very versatile, they last forever, super easy to clean, and nothing's going in the trash. But there's certain things like raw meat that just aren't gonna fit well in a mason jar, and so these Ziploc bags are great. So we're replacing them. This is another new product. I do have a lot of products I'm going to show you that I've been using for a while, so not everything is brand new. I've wanted these for a long time, and this brand came specifically recommended from a friend I trust, which is why I am sharing them with you. So this is the gallon size. The set I have comes, I think, with 15, and we have from snack size, sandwich size, quart size, gallon size in there. See, it's the same. And it still has your Ziploc zipper, and it's a silicone bag. And one thing that I really like about this that she had mentioned to me as well is that they're very thick. They're much thicker than a Ziploc bag. While I do wash and reuse the disposable Ziploc bags, after a while they just they'll get a hole in them or the zippers break, and from what I've heard, these have a great shelf life and will be able to be used millions of times, hopefully. And they also work great in the freezer, and because they're silicone and not plastic, they won't get brittle in the freezer, so you don't have to necessarily worry about them ripping like a Ziploc bag might. Washing for these, they They do recommend hand washing, which for me isn't a big deal because that's all we do anyway, but that's something to keep in mind for you. That is something that you would have to hand wash if you do not already do some hand washing. So those were 2 food storage items, I guess 3 if you count the mason jars. Now we're gonna talk about cleaning. I have a couple products that I love for cleaning, especially in the kitchen. The first is actually my Swiffer, and you may be saying, hey, a Swiffer is tons of disposable products. You've got disposable batteries, you've got disposable pads, and you've got disposable soap containers. And let me tell you, a Swiffer can be completely reusable. Yeah. If you want to know how to refill your Swiffer, here's a quick 1-minute video I made of the tricks to getting those pesky little containers open because they make it impossible. For the batteries, rechargeable batteries, that's easy. And for the mop pads, I am loving these. I'll link them below. They're a little bit oversized. These are actually designed for a Bissell floor mop system, which I guess is the Bissell version of the Swiffer, which is a little wider. But they stick great to the Swiffer. They wash great. I just throw them in with my dirty rags, which we're already using for cleaning. So no special cleaning instructions. They just get washed with everything else. It does a great job scrubbing stickies off the floor. Next we have dishwashing. For dishwashing, I want to replace 2 disposable items. One being the steel wool. Now steel wool is reusable a lot, but doesn't last super long. And I use steel wool for my pots and pans and obviously my cast iron. And then the regular sponge for everything else. The steel wool, if you watch my cast iron video, I'll link it here, I replaced with this Chainlink scrubber. I've had this probably 3 years and it's still in excellent condition. I think it'll last me much, much longer. Gets my cast iron super clean. For sponges, I have tried a lot of different kinds of sponges. And the problem with most things that are described as a reusable, sustainable type sponge is that they either get holes in them eventually, or their cleaning instructions want you to run it through the dishwasher. I don't have a dishwasher, but the washing machine and its agitator just rips them to shreds and they don't last very long. So I've chosen to use these microfiber dishcloths. Got a whole pack of them actually. And they really do a very good job. So they're 4x6, so same as like a picture. And one side has this microfiber kind of rough scrubby, and the other side is very soft. This rough scrubby does not scrape my plates or my pots, but it does a good job getting gunk off my dishes. And the soft side is great for your more delicate like cups and things like that. The nice thing is because it's not a sponge, it doesn't absorb and hold water for a really long time, so they dry out fast and they don't get stinky, so I can reuse them a lot before it needs to be washed. And then I just throw it in my rag bucket with my other rags and my microfiber Swiffer mops and wash them with everything else. So no special washing, it's great. For cleaning yourself and your children, I had been buying these foaming hand dispensers, just all different brands, but obviously these are, you can refill them, but they get kind of gross after a while with this white plastic. It just looks nasty. And they're also really small, and when you have a big family, you're just running through soap like crazy, especially with kids who do nothing in moderation. And so it ends up getting a little bit expensive and it's a lot of waste. So we've replaced them with these mason top foaming hand soap, and I actually have homemade soap inside. If you'd like to see my recipe for the homemade soap, I can definitely make a video. Comment below, I'd love to make a video on it. Super simple. And the other benefit of using a foaming hand soap dispenser versus a regular hand soap dispenser is that foaming hand soap uses much less soap than regular soap. Kids just squirt so much on, way more than they need. So the foaming hand soap is a majority of it is water, and so it's not quite as wasteful when you have kids just running through it. And I also really like these specific tops because the straw inside is long enough that it works in a quart jar. So I don't feel like I'm refilling my soap every week because of all the people in our house. Just gives me one less thing to do. And if you've been counting, you know that we're at the end. Our last thing here is coffee. Let's talk about coffee. I love coffee for the obvious reasons. Coffee filters are technically compostable, so as far as waste goes, it's not really that big of a deal, but it is an expense and it's something that you use once and you throw away. There are reusable coffee filters you can buy if you're interested, but I actually found that using a stovetop percolator like this ends up saving you money in a couple ways. One, no coffee filters. You put the coffee right in the basket inside, no filter. And two, a percolator, because of how it makes your coffee by continuously boiling it and running it through the basket, you actually use less coffee to make a strong coffee, so you end up saving a bit of money on your coffee expense. We've been using a stovetop percolator since we moved to the farm, so probably about 5 years. Sometimes you even put it on the wood stove, though usually I want my coffee faster than that. It takes a long time on the wood stove. And so it's been a great solution. It might be a good solution to you if you'd like to just stop buying paper coffee filters all the time. If you have any questions, leave them below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Say bye.
Bye. Mommy!
Yeah, that's mine.
Can you please open that?